I'm Sharon Braxton, your host from Braxton TV. I am sitting here with John Carlos, and he has a book on the market that is selling like hotcakes. So, what fuels your spirit?
What fuels my spirit?
Yep, what fuels your spirit?
Probably just life itself.
So breathing.
That's it. When I say life, I'm talking about probably life experiences. My life experiences and the life experience that evolves around me. I think that's what turns me on. When I got involved in track and field, I think the hook that kept me in the track and field is the fact that what I was doing was turning so many people on, and it had a lot of people to forget about their problems. They would come out there and they would see me run, and then they would see my annex too, because I was a character at the time and I was running as well. I just like to see people's spirit rise. When I was a kid, robbing, doing the Robin Hood deal at the freight train, breaking in and stealing food and taking it to people's houses to see them light up and see the look of hope in their eyes. Because a lot of people have a tendency when I'm in a rut and I don't know what to do. It's like, for instance, if an individual had a tree in front of their house and the tree grew so much foliage and it blocked the stop sign, and they worried about kids getting killed, but they don't know who to call to come and, cut the tree back, and people are like that in life, and you have to try and help where you can and not be so bodacious enough to push them in anything, but to go and do and be a little more kind with them, to have them loosen up enough where they can challenge themselves to do it for themselves. I think that's my calling in life, to try and help where I can help. At the same time, be flexible enough. If I have to turn the volume and get in someone's face, I have no problem with that as well.
Okay. All right. So you're a humanitarian.
I like to just look at myself as being my father's son. No more, no less. I'm just a regular guy. I think people that get those titles and so forth, I think their egos get a little inflated. They can't put their hat on. I don't want to be that guy. I like people. I like to have fun with people. And if they can get something out of me doing something in life, one day maybe it will inspire them to do when it's time for them to do. I like people to realize that, when we have a crisis, we can't take a neutral stand. I always use the metaphor, there's no woman that's partially pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. There's no chicken that lays the egg on the fence and the egg stays neutral. It falls to the right, it falls to the left. And in challenges in life, we have to make this clear in our minds and our hearts that I cannot just stand here, because if I stand here, I'm going to get hit by the train. I have to make a move one way or another. Many individuals that have that opportunity, when they stutter, they reflect 40, 50 years later about this drip in their brain that I had the opportunity, I should have did something, I didn't do anything. They want a second chance in life to do it, but they'll never get the chance for the one that's really disturbing their minds all those years.
So, what made you write your book, The John Carlos Story?
Well, the reason why I wrote this book, this is my second book actually. I wrote a book called Why, and it was pretty raw, more than that one. But I wanted to write the book because there's been so many stories told about John Carlos, and so many articles and magazines and TV and radio about John Carlos, from many of the people that never met John Carlos, nor did they have the opportunity to sit down and have any discussion with me. And they chose to sell newspapers or sell commercial ads and so forth about talking about the individuals they knew nothing about. I felt it was imperative that I write that book because I wanted my kids and my ancestors to hear from John Carlos who he was and what he thought about his life and what was necessary to make him who he was in life.
Well, I have to say, I started reading the book, and it's one of those books where you cannot put it down. So you pick it up and you're sitting there and you're like, wow, like I really felt like I was there with you.
That's the way we wanted to write the book. Many people have made this statement that you made. People tell me, "See, John, I'm mad at you." What are you mad at me about? You didn't tell me about that book, man. You should have told me that I shouldn't read that book on the way to bed at night because I had to stay up all night to finish the book.
Yes.
So that's impressive when people say they read it and they got something out of it. And they look
you get lost in the story,
right?
So it's pretty special, especially someone like me who grew up with your posters in my home.
Right.
And so now I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, I'm really, really there. And then now sitting here and interviewing with you. So where can one buy the book?
Well, they can go to johncarlos68.com and they
Okay.
can order the book through the page there. Or they can go to Haymarket Books and they can order the book there.
Haymarketbooks.com.
Right, or
Yeah.
they can go to Amazon.com and
Okay.
order the book there.
Okay.
Or they can get in touch with John Carlos directly through my page or through my Facebook,
Okay.
Twitter, or what have you, and I would be more than glad to oblige them in any way I can to get the book to them. I would hope that everyone out there would take some time and go look at my page, johncarlos68.com, and become a member, as well as go to my page on Facebook and become a member so you guys can have an exchange. And when I have opportunity to enlighten you, to give you food for thought, I will definitely have that for you on the pages. Thank you.
It is definitely a must read. I'm going to leave you with a quote of yours.
Right.
We live to make history. And so you are the fastest humanitarian in the world, and we appreciate you for being on this planet. And we thank you for your service of the world. And I want to ask one question to the viewers. What are you doing in your life to make history? So that's something to think about. And you can either get John on Twitter, Facebook, or his website, Amazon.com. You can buy the book. And what's the other two websites?
Haymarket Books or johncarlos68.com.
Thank you so much, John Carlos. We salute you.
Thank you.
Again, I'm your host, Sharon Braxton, reporting from Braxton TV. Bye-bye.